Senator Bernie Sanders was in town this week to stump for Democratic candidates in Colorado, including Jared Polis. Fans gathered at an event held at CU were excited to see him, and it's fair to say that Republican candidates also enjoyed his appearance. Sanders made a point to critique the fact that billionaires are able to buy elections. All this with Jared Polis standing right behind him. Patty, we had Donald Trump come out with his endorsement of Walker Stapleton a couple weeks ago, and something that went well to the base and gave a lot of fodder to the other side. And it seems that Bernie Sanders delivered the very same thing this week. Perhaps I'm being too superficial. What do you think?
Well, especially his line, Bernie, about billionaires being able to buy elections. And I guess Polis is on the borderline with the multi-billionaire. Bernie still has some star power, and so that was interesting to watch. He energized the presidential campaign 4 years ago. He still got people out to talk about him. He's certainly got Polis's press person in a lot of trouble on this when she went and wanted to stop an anti-Polis protester from filming. That created a lot of trouble. It's interesting because Stapleton's campaign has been very good at stonewalling the press, but in this case, the Polis people didn't do themselves any favor either. But Bernie still gets people out there, and he still gets people arguing.
David, we talked about this a couple weeks ago with Trump's endorsement, where it was kind of a momentary headlines, not necessarily real serious damage. Would you put it the same way when Bernie Sanders comes out and says billionaires shouldn't buy elections in front of somebody who doesn't quite have $1 billion yet, but?
Oh, I think it's extremely unfair to Polis. Jared Polis is worth, by latest reports, $374 million. And let's presume his parents also have a lot of money from their sale of Blue Mountain Arts. I doubt altogether it's even $1 billion. And Jared himself is barely over 1/3 of $1 billion. He's close. He's much closer in wealth to you or me than he is to a billionaire. Compared to like the big guys, Tom Steyer, the Kochs, Bloomberg, Jared has put in $20 million of his own money. Now that's out of $374 million. That's a significant percent. Whereas if Bloomberg puts $20 million into something, he just like goes through his couch and finds some gold doubloons and he doesn't even notice it. It's like you've given a guy on the street a quarter. It doesn't have any effect on your total wealth. And Bernie is saying, let the little guy have a chance. Instead of these big billionaires, how about the 100 millionaires who get shut out of our system so much?
Hard to follow anything that includes Spanish doubloons, but Eric, do your best. What do you think? Is there any lasting effect of Bernie's visit to Colorado?
First, I think we need to page a surgeon here to get David's tongue out of his cheek, because it was very firmly implanted there. What do I think? I think it speaks to how politics has changed over the last 10, 15 years, where these late visits are all designed to gin up the base. There is not a centrist voter who is truly undecided between Jared Polis and Walker Stapleton who is going to take their cue from Bernie Sanders. That person doesn't exist. The other person who doesn't exist is a Bernie Sanders voter who isn't already on board with Jared Polis. So neither of those voters, in my mind, exist out there, but yet you come in to gin up the base, to try to drive some enthusiasm. It's not lost on me that it was held at CU. They certainly didn't go to downtown Colorado Springs or to Grand Junction for this particular event. They went to Boulder for it. Does it going to have any consequence? No, it's not going to have any consequence, I think, either positive or negative, but it dominates the news for a day or two.
Megan, what do you think? I tend to agree with Eric that you have a crowd there who is, one report said, as a woman exclaimed, he touched my hand, he touched my hand. If the Beatles are in town, that's great, but that person's already voting for the Democratic ticket. And he didn't change anybody's minds who was maybe on the fence, still looking at their ballot on their coffee table, or their kitchen table. So do these have value when you see these high-profile visits in the end of an election season?
The value was not for Jared Polis or for Joe Neguse. The value was for down-ticket, close races that they need every single voter to turn out. Just like the value of Trump coming was not for any Republicans at the top of the ticket. It was for the down ticket to get those voters out, to forestall what people think is going to be a blue wave. That's what the effort is. And it's effective to get people riled up, swooning over Bernie Sanders, apparently.